Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of. I've got a cracking guest for you today. His name is Jeremy Redman, and he is the founder and CEO of no-code/low code platform TaskMagic. Welcome to the podcast, Jeremy.
Whoa. Thank you for
Intense,
that.
intense.
Intense, coming with it. And I like when people come with it. So great work, Jason. So happy to be here.
Look, it is super cool to have you here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we've got that simpatico California vibe going on because you're in Burbank, aren't you?
No, I'm in Burbank. Yeah, Burbank, Hollywood. What they call the airport now? It used to be Bob Hope. Now it's Burbank, Hollywood.
It's funny you mentioned that because actually, when I was about 20, with a good friend of mine, but my best friend in the States, Kevin, he's originally from Pennsylvania. He had moved out to California to make a name for himself in the music industry. His parents were visiting from the East Coast, and we went there with his parents, and his father ended up winning, I don't know, one of the showcase showdowns or something like that. And he's a funny character, a super funny character. And his father was picked to be on The Price is Right, won the showcase showdown, didn't end up making it all the way to the end and winning the $1 million or whatever it is prize, but he ended up winning a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, that's my story about Burbank, California.
You didn't know a lot of those details. And you talk about being simpatico. My grandmother was on The Price is Right once back in the 80s. I think. She had the videotape. I think they give you the videotape after. Maybe it's not a tape anymore. Maybe it's just a link to whatever it is.
Yes.
But yeah, it's meant to be, Jason. Yeah. Meant to be. I hear you.
Yes, it's super interesting stories. I love the overlap there. And we also have an overlap in another way, which is both into tech. You've now I've looked at your profile, and according to you now, you are not a coder, you're not a developer. So that's another thing we have in common. I'm not a developer either, but you've also had the privilege to build three, not one, not two, but three six-figure no-code startups from scratch. How cool is that?
I think it's so much more empowering that it is cool. But it's so much more empowering as I hear you say that. So when I hear you say that back to me, it sounds like trivia when I say it to myself or I try to remind myself what I've done. When you say it, it sounds very empowering. And I think I look back at the first one because I have one 7-figure, which is the TaskMagic, what we're doing right now. And then 3 other 6-figure companies built from nothing with I've never had a technical co-founder. So I've always, the very first company that I started was called Air 5. And it was just a digital business card exchange. And it was made out of WordPress and a few dozen plugins. So teaching yourself the OG no code tools, tools you don't have to customize or use for, and just offshoring that kind of stuff if you need to just getting the labor off of your side and onto these plugins and their team and their support teams. So as long as you can write support at whatever.com for these plugins, you can create things. And I go back to, that first company, I was able to make a couple $100,000 on. Then I was able to afford a full-time engineer to put on staff to build the second one. And you're just there's this one thing, this through line between all the companies that I've created. And it's it's connecting people like myself and like you who don't know how to code and showing them that same empowerment and going, you can do this too. You can have a $200,000 a year business. You can. It's hard work. Right. But it's the tools are there to have everyone level up. And I'm just one of those tools.
And you've built this tool. You've built your latest tool / platform / amazing no code platform is TaskMagic. And from what I can tell, it's a BPA or business, not to use any flashy acronyms, but business process automation platform, at least from what I can tell. But it's a no code automation platform. And correct. You call it you call it TaskMagic iOS is your individual operating system that automates workflows in your business, presumably. And I'm guessing that it is a business process automation platform that has a little bit of integration thrown in for good measure. So something maybe like a mixture of a Zapier and a no-code / low-code business automation platform.
Yes. So that's amazing. You should just write all our copy. So every time like I think about this, like I started off with those tools like early on with using Zapier. And the more I use Zapier, the better I got with it. And there are limited tools to what those companies have, like API or what they grant API access to. And a lot of tools don't have Zapier connections, and I know they're working on it, and that's cool. And what I learned by going deep into this realm of non-technical folks, especially small business owners like FMBs, like one, two, three people, like e-com shops or like a bagel shop or a pizza shop, like they have 7 employees. They don't have the luxury of, or money to do or learn these things. So, like, connecting API, they don't know what an API is, Jason. Like, don't know, they don't give a shit, right? All they want to do is know that automations exist and they can help their business. They just don't know what exactly to automate. So they don't want to go into Zapier and go, cool. They know, cool, I can go in this thing and I have to go into Google Sheets on the web and I have to go and do Toast to reconcile the orders from Toast with my online inventory. And Zapier doesn't have this direct connection. And I don't want to go learn a tool. Oh, yeah, by the way, I sat down for Zapier and now I got to go call this guy to order bagel dough. I don't know, sourdough. Like there's more important things, but they know the value of automation, like software automation. So I was like, okay. So it started with like me just talking to like small businesses. And like you said, the iOS, like the I stands for individual, right? Like the operating system. And the individual part of it is like these individual businesses, these one, two, three people, small businesses. One person has an e-com shop on Shopify, right? But there's other things and other processes that they can automate, and they're already used to doing these. So I go, cool, I can show you how to do this and just tell me what you need automated. And what people would do is send me like a Loom video or a zip message or something recorded on their screen that like, hey, I have to do this, and then I go here, and then I go here. And then I was like, okay, wouldn't it be cool if that thing that they were recording on their screen, which is them doing the automation, wouldn't that be cool if that just did the automation? So we built this recorder, this automation recorder that captures your actions as they're actually going through it. So they will hit a button to record. They will do that manual repetitive process once while it's recording in the web, hit stop, and then they can schedule it and connect it to whatever else. So there's zero learning curve. There's nothing they have to do. And then the system will learn as it goes and recommend other automations for you.
Wow. So the cool thing about this is that not only do you not have to be a coder, but it feels like you have really almost thrown the kitchen sink at this thing whilst keeping it easy to use. So based on what you said and based on the scenarios and the sort of use cases, the example use cases you listed on your site, I feel like you could almost be considered, for people out there that have heard of Bubble, the no-code, low-code development platform, and for people out there that perhaps have heard of Airtable, and for people out there who have heard of Zapier, if we put those three things in a cauldron and stirred the cauldron and mixed them all together, what might drop out of that is something like TaskMagic, because it feels like you've obviously got your own database. You're a SaaS platform like these other platforms, and you allow people to automate tasks that would otherwise be manual. You allow them to do that by connecting disparate systems together, even if they don't know how to code, even if they don't know what an API is or means. And you allow them to store data and manipulate that data along the way. So it feels very much like you've taken these disparate systems, these disparate concepts of no code, low code, software development, database management, API management, integration. You've stirred them all together, and what dropped out was a marriage, really, of these systems to create something called TaskMagic.
Yes, exactly what it is. It's all magic. So it's like you're dropping all these things in a cauldron and you're just whipping up these spells. And then boom, all of these spells come out. And now you're some wizard. I mean, you don't even know what you're doing, Jason. So it's like you have all these apps, you use all these things, you throw them in. Now I think I should I should go right in with all the magic part of this. You stir that pot and you're connecting all of them, and you already have all these tabs open, right? So you're just literally doing the thing once. Like I said, you have to have all these like you're using Airtable, you're using Google Sheets, you're using Bubble, you're using all these things. Now this just like glues them all together and you do that thing once. Like we have a customer, a non-technical customer that runs a hosting company. And all he had to do for spinning up a server was use us and then integrated it with DigitalOcean. So, which is a server company. And like normally they make it kind of one click, but they don't have, but a non-engineered person doesn't know how to spin up a server using their API and code that. So they can just go in and click buttons and go, cool. Every time someone buys from Stripe, set up this trigger, run this recording, boom, and then send them their server that they have that connected their WordPress website or whatever. So it's so much, and we're still like in that stage where we're growing pretty insane. Like it's some 60% month over month in the last 7-8 months. So we're kind of finding that true product market fit. Exciting stage to be at. But yes, it's exactly how you say it.